seeding-wise, who plays who, we have to still wait because of the play-in games. Let's take a look at the Eastern Conference right now. So we have number 10, Miami, at number 9, Charlotte on Tuesday, number 8, Orlando at number 7, Philadelphia on Wednesday. And then the matchups we know, number 5, Toronto at number 4, Cleveland, number 6, Atlanta at number 3, New York. Now, let's talk about Atlanta for a second. I do not like what they did, and I'm rooting for the Knicks. I'm saying that out loud.
Whoa.
I am rooting for the Knicks, and I like the Hawks. I think they have a really good roster. You know what they have? It's breaking news. A lot of players who play offense and defense. You know, you're allowed to do both in basketball.
You refuse to use the term two-way player.
I won't do it. It's ridiculous.
You refuse it.
It's ridiculous. So, for those who are unaware, here's what the Hawks did. The Hawks went into yesterday as the 5 seed. If they won against the Miami Heat, they would have still been the 5 seed, and they would have played Cleveland. But they rested basically their entire team, saying, well, we assume that both Toronto and Orlando will win, and thus it'll trigger a 3-way tie. Well, you learned a lesson last night. Never, ever, ever doubt Joe Mazzulla. Because Joe Mazzulla could have Michelle Smallman, Nuno, Cam, Pat, Javante, Canty, and I all on his team, and he will push us to levels that we have never been before on the basketball court. Joe Mazzulla took a bunch of guys that no one's heard of and beat the Orlando Magic. So that creates a 2-way tie that Toronto won over Atlanta. They asked to play the Knicks, CeCe. I don't like it one bit.
Yeah.
They asked for him. Better not get your butts kicked.
Yeah, you better be careful with that.
You choose the Knicks over the Cavs? Is that what ended up happening?
Correct.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like, the Knicks, there's more depth there than there has been in years past. And I don't know why on ESPN2 and ESPNU they have a picture of me rather than showing me in studio. That's really, really weird. But I don't know why you would choose that particular matchup, because the Knicks have more depth than they have in years past. And the Cavs are putting this thing together on the fly. They're literally building the plane while they fly, because they made the midseason trade for James Harden. And we'll see how all of that stuff ends up going. The Knicks have been a healthier team, relatively speaking, in the second half of the season than the Cavs. So, yeah, it's curious to me why the Atlanta Hawks would choose to have that matchup with the Knicks versus the Cavs. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense on its face.
Yeah, I don't really understand that either. I know that they are one of the hottest teams in the league right now. I think they were 20-6 after the All-Star break. And if that's the case, shouldn't you want to play anybody? If you truly think that you're a team that could make some noise and surprise some people, especially in the first round, why are you trying to maneuver things in a certain way? And by the way, like you said, guys, if that's the case, then you better win it. You better win it.
Well, and they're the lower seed. They don't have home court. In a way, I can't believe I'm saying this. I think the Knicks have become underrated. Do you know the Knicks won more games in the regular season this year than they did last year?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay? And now you have a team positioning themselves to try to play against the Knicks. Just play your guys and see it out. I get the fact that, okay, maybe they want to give their guys some rest. Maybe they look at it and say Miami had something to play for in essence, because the Hornets were going to play their guys to host a play-in game. The Knicks were not. So, whatever. Like, I don't understand it. Josh Nullenberg, who covers the Raptors, had a tweet last night. Definitely heard some cheers coming from the Raptors when Luka Garza, the Celtics, hit the game winner for Boston. But R.J. Barrett insists they didn't have a preference between Cleveland or New York. He played and beat the Cavs in the 4-5 matchup when he was with the Knicks in 2023. But the Raptors had no control over it. The Raptors played their guys last night.
Yeah.
Have you ever been a part of a team that basically was trying to position themselves for the postseason?
No.
So
no.
If you're
but I will acknowledge that football is a different sport than basketball.
That.
But, yeah, no, I've never been a part of a team that said, you know, we're going to go out here and give it less than our best effort to try to win a football game. Like, now, there's been times where coaches have decided to sit starters, and I understand that strategically, making sure you get to the games that matter the most with all of your guys healthy. But in that instance, to go out there and to just decide that, you know what, we're going to tank it as the lesser seed going into a playoff series and choose our adventure with going with the better of the two teams that we could potentially match up with, that just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me at all.
Nuno, you're a Knicks fan. Does this bother you at all?
No, I mean, listen, if you think you should think you can beat a team, right? Like the Hawks have been hot. They have, I guess, players that can bother, that will bother the Knicks, especially defensively. But I think here's the bigger thing. They don't have Trae Young. Like, I know they've been better without him, but he is the guy that would destroy the Knicks and that Knicks fans would worry about. And I just feel like, hey, you know what? You wanted this. You got it. Like, let's see what you got.
Yeah, like who's the bucket getter? Who's the guy that like can go out there? It's going to be Jalen Johnson. They rely on. I get a Jalen Johnson and Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Like, I get those guys have experience, and Nickeil Alexander-Walker has been in some big games with the Minnesota Timberwolves. I get all of that, but they don't have a guy that I think would be somebody that you can rely on once it becomes game plan specific in a playoff series that is going to be able to fight through the double team, sometimes triple teams, and find a way to get his shots and then set up others to get their shots. Like, Trae Young was that guy for the Atlanta Hawks in the postseason. Say what you want about Trae Young. He was the best player on a team that got to the conference finals once upon a time. So they don't necessarily have that guy, and you just wonder where the points are going to come from. They can defend. Nobody's going to take that away from the Atlanta Hawks, but you got to be able to score in order to be able to win in the postseason, and you just wonder where that's going to come from. Yeah. I do have a sidebar question, though.
Yeah,
because
me too.
I was at the Knicks game last night. Does anybody have a problem with them starting Mikal Bridges even though he didn't play?
I've seen it before, so I'm kind of used to it.
But do we have a problem with that?
I guess
because especially when we're having the conversation now,
I don't love
with
it.
the comments that Wemby made over the weekend about guys playing in games but not really playing a whole lot of minutes. Like,
I didn't like it with Josh Allen when he did it.
I hated it with Josh Allen.
I feel like it is a little different in the NBA only because what's the problem with the NFL is, well, nothing. Everybody loves the NFL at all times.
Yes.
The problem with the NBA is there's a perception, whether real or not, that players don't play. So when the guy is trying to maneuver every which way to play more, even if it's for 2 minutes, I can't.
He didn't play.
Well, he played. How long did he actually play for?
30 seconds.
Oh, was that quick?
Yeah. Like, he didn't log a minute. He started, but he didn't log a.
So then maybe there should be some sort of number of minutes that you would play.
And he did that again. He did that last year.
I know he's done this before.
No, I'm just asking the question, Nuno. Do we have a problem with it?
I mean, it is kind of cheap because
that's what I'm saying. I didn't like it.
It's lame, but again, we critique so many players for finding ways of not. We just critique the Atlanta Hawks. They didn't play guys to position themselves to play the Knicks, or they thought maybe to play the Cavs. Smalls, your sidebar was what?
What happens if the Knicks lose?
Well, then the Hawks made a smart move.
Right, but think about the way we're going to examine the Knicks if they lose. Like, oh, the Hawks smelled blood in the water. They saw a deficiency in you, and they were right. James Dolan put it on wax at the beginning of the year saying that this team absolutely has to get to the finals and that they should win a championship. You got as far as you've been in a quarter century last year with Tibbs, and you fired him because you said it wasn't good enough. And if you lose in the first round to the Hawks, who kind of called their shot, that's embarrassing. What happens with the Knicks then?
Small, the Knicks ain't going to lose to the Hawks.
Okay.
You can call it the KOD, whatever. The Knicks ain't going to. Barring anything unforeseen in the way of injury, Knicks ain't going to lose to the Hawks.
If you were
they are deeper and they are much better defensively than they have been in years. Like Jose Alvarado, I mean, he was giving LaMelo Ball all kinds of problems last night, all kinds of trouble. Deuce McBride, outstanding player coming off the bench.
Yes.
I mean, they got guys that you can rely on. Diawara's awesome. He's rangy. Like, they've got guys that can be problematic defensively for the Atlanta Hawks. Like, I get that the Hawks can D up, but I think the Knicks defense is going to have a chance to shine in this series as well, just because I don't trust the bucket getters for the Atlanta Hawks. And the Knicks have so many different bodies that they can throw at their top scoring guys. I just think that defensively, the Knicks are much better off than they have been in years past.
A quick question, and we'll get to the Western Conference playoffs in a second here. But if you were Mike Brown, you're head coach of the New York Knicks, you're meeting with your squad today, you're starting your Atlanta prep. First thing you're saying, these guys wanted to play you?
Yes.
Just a reminder, everybody, they didn't have to do this.
They didn't. They literally could have improved their playoff standing. Like, when I played in the NFL, you sat guys in week 17, week 18 because you couldn't improve your playoff standing. You were essentially locked in.
Right.
So it didn't matter whether you won or lost the game. So it didn't make sense to put guys in harm's way. But this is not the NFL. This is the NBA. It's basketball. And it was a situation where there was a chance that the Atlanta Hawks could have improved their standing, and they chose not to.
That's right.
So if you're Mike Brown, that's the
how you
rally.
started?
That's the rallying cry in that locker room.
Totally agree. Rory wins the Masters. NBA playoffs are ready to go. And oh, by the way, it is WrestleMania.